All right guys, I got something special today. This is a bike I've been wanting to review for a while and I finally got my hands on it. And this one's by Engwe. This is their M20 and it's the dual battery version. You're looking at sub $1,700 for a bike that could potentially go 60 to 70 miles on one charge. Let's go ahead and bust this bike out of this box and see if the Engwe M20 is actually worth the money. Look at that, nice leather looking like seat. Our first battery. In the videos that I've seen, this top battery is not typically installed. You normally have to do it. It looks like Engwe is now pre-installing this if you order the dual battery. It's interesting, this fork being dual crown has compression right up here. Let's get to the second battery here. Oh, it's a BMX style handlebar. That's real interesting. So we'll mount it down here and then up here we'll have room for like accessories. That's kind of cool. All right, here we go. This is the Engwe M20 fully built up. It does take a little bit to actually get this thing fully built, so be prepared to put in 30 minutes to probably an hour to an hour and a half, depending on your experience level. Let's go ahead and dive into all the details on this Engwe M20 and take this bad boy out on its first test ride. All right, so I turned this on and I instantly started getting this EO30 air. I have tried a couple of different things. I took the seat off, which I wasn't really wanting to do. I took out the battery balancer, which allows you to run both batteries, connected each battery individually to the controller down here, and still I get the EO30. So I'm gonna have to get in contact with Engwe and ask them to send me a new controller or give me some advice on how to get rid of the EO30 error. All right, let's go ahead and take the Engwe M20 out. I got this thing working and I'll explain exactly what I had to do to get that EO30 error message off of here. So if you guys have this same issue, you can know how to fix this yourself. I have already taken this bike out for 22.6 miles and I've only used one battery bar. So this thing has really good battery life. Okay, now we're out on the Engwe M20 and I want to explain really quick how I got this bike working, how the EO30 error message was removed from this bike. Well, it actually wound up being something kind of actually silly. It was this throttle over here. It was tightened down with the 3mm bolt on here, apparently a little bit too tight, and it couldn't spring back. Well, the lack of it being able to spring back just set off EO30 error, I guess because the throttle was kind of on whenever you turn the unit on. That was a little tricky. So if you do have an EO30 error message pop up, loosen the throttle here and see if it sticks or springs back. And if it does stick, then it could be just the throttle causing your problems. Now, this throttle still does stick a little bit. As you can see, it's stuck right there. I'm not holding it or anything. So if I were to keep this bike, I would be changing this out for probably a half twist or maybe a thumb throttle. I prefer thumb throttles. I know that's kind of a personal preference thing, but not only that, do you get a full twist throttle on this side, you do have the mechanical disc brakes on both sides here. These are really generic levers. These brakes are really nothing special. Kind of disappointing actually, being that it's only 160 mil rotors. Now right next to the brake lever, you are going to get a Shimano 7-speed shifter. The rear derailleur on this is a turny rear derailleur. And then if we look over here on this other side, you are going to get that computer that I had talked to you about earlier, where it's a little bit different screen than what I'm used to seeing. I can see this just fine in the daylight. And then further over, you do have your headlight button and then you have a horn. Now I do like these BMX style handlebars. I really like how you can pull them back further or push them out further. So depending on whether or not you're a taller rider, that can make a really big difference, or a shorter rider. And then you also have this free bar up here where you could put a better headlight than what comes on this bike, or you could attach like a cell phone holder or a drink holder, something like that. But moving on, you do get 2 batteries in this particular model. You do have the option for a single battery model, and each battery is right around 13 amp hours, and they are 48 volts. So you are going to get a claimed about 60 to 70 miles on this bike. Now, I took this out the other day and I did 22 miles and I was only down 1 bar. I think realistically, throttle only, you're probably looking at more like 40 miles if you're running it like I do in pedal assist 5 and basically full throttle almost the entire time. Now, the suspension up front here, you do get a compression adjustment here. So it absorbs the road bumps, the sidewalk bumps, all that stuff really, really well. I actually like it quite a bit. Now, looking further up front, the headlights, it's a dual headlight design, good in theory, but just like all other e-bikes, they're not super bright. Now, they do claim that this is a 1,000-watt motor on this bike. So you're looking at 750 watts of nominal power, and that's pretty standard for a class 3 e-bike, especially one that's moped style or heavier. But what I really like is that they put on these aluminum wheels that don't have spokes. You never have to worry about truing these wheels. Now, the rear suspension on this bike, it's nice. The downfall of it is it's not adjustable. Now, one thing I've seen other people complain about online is the seat. They feel like it's too low. And I do tend to agree with that. It does feel a little bit low. Raised up a little bit more would be nice. I think one thing that they could do to compensate for this lower seat, and what I think should be equipped on all e-moped bikes, are shorter cranks. Now, I do want to say the max speed that I've gotten this up to on flat ground is right at about 28 miles an hour. I don't see any features to be able to unlock that to any higher speeds. But the overall ride of this bike it's just so much fun. I don't know if you guys have ever ridden a moped style bike, but they're just a blast to ride around. Now, I do wish that this bike had turn signals. It doesn't have a turn signal. It does have a rear tail light, which is nice to see and to be expected on a moped style. Now, one other thing that's nice that this comes with is fenders. They are metal fenders, so if you run over like a lot of gravel, if you're on gravel roads, metal fenders tend to be a little bit louder, but they look a lot nicer, and I think they're gonna hold up a lot better than, say, a plastic fender would. All right, I'm gonna take this back, I'm gonna get this charged up, and then we're gonna take it out for that hill climb to see how this thing performs. More than likely, I'm gonna do 2 tests with this, one with pedal assist and one with throttle. So we'll see you guys there. All right, so here we are at the bottom of the hill that I test all of my e-bikes on. This thing gets up to 19% grade. Let's go ahead and take the Engwe M20 up this hill with throttle only and see how it does. All right, here we go. Pedal assist 5, throttle only. Let's see what it can do. This is gonna be a hard test for this bike. This bike seems to do really well on relatively flat ground, but when it comes to hills, it does struggle a little bit. We'll have to see. We are about at the 12% and we only made it up to 19 miles an hour there. We're already down to 15 and we're getting ready to get to the 15% grade. There is no chance this thing is gonna make it up this hill, but we'll just have to see. This is getting close to the 19%. Where that driveway ends, it's 19%. We're just gonna let it go until this bike doesn't push any further. Yeah, we're already down to 10 miles an hour, 9 miles an hour. This is the 19% grade. 7, 5, 4, 3, yep, that's it right there. So we didn't even make it halfway up the 19% grade. Let's go ahead, let's turn it around. Let's go down the hill and let's find out how it does with pedal assist. And of course, this doesn't surprise me. This bike feels super stable going down this. And we hit 31, see if we can get any faster, 32, 33, just halfway up that hill. So it wouldn't surprise me if we hit 40 going down that hill whenever we turn around here. We're gonna give it a little bit of throttle and then we're gonna go ahead and do the pedal assist up the hill. All right, here we go. Pedal assist mode, we're gonna get it up to speed. All right, I'm gonna start pedaling now. Come on, kick in, cadence sensor. So as you guys can see, the Engwe M20 didn't quite cut it when it came to the big hill climb. It just couldn't make it up there. Now I couldn't test the pedal assist because my cadence sensor failed on me. Instead of contacting Engwe and asking for a new part, waiting a few weeks to get it, I went ahead and just ordered one on Amazon for about 13 bucks. But really the test for me, if it's gonna be a moped style bike, it really has to try to conquer that hill with throttle alone. Now going down the hill, I did pick up quite a bit of speed as you guys saw, and this bike is extremely stable, which is pretty much the tradition for most moped style bikes. With the fat tires up front and the heavier weight of these bikes, they're just really stable at higher speeds. Now my final thoughts on this bike, coming in right now at this point in time and recording the video at $1,450 for the dual battery version. I feel like this bike is a nice bike. For a fun way to get around town, the Engwe M20 is definitely a blast. And if it were my money, I would definitely get the dual battery version over the single battery. It's not much more, and you're gonna have less range anxiety whenever you get out on the road. Now, really the only other thing that I wanna address with this bike is the fact that it only comes with one 2-amp charger. So to fully charge this entire bike, you're probably looking at close to about 14 hours. So you really want to make sure that whenever you get home or wherever you're going, that you plug in the charger right away. That way you can get these batteries fully charged up for your next adventure. All right, if you like this video and you are thinking about getting an Engwe M20, I would appreciate it if you used my links below, as that helps out the channel. But if this bike is not the bike for you, you might want to check out my playlist of all my e-bike reviews. Maybe you'll find one in there that works best for you. All right guys, see you in the next one.